And good evening from Las Vegas. We welcome you to the Sports Adrenaline Podcast. It's on to the Stanley Cup Final for the Vegas Golden Knights as the expansion team continues to achieve the impossible. Now VGK will await the winner of the Washington-Tampa Game 7 showdown coming up on Wednesday night. We'll have some news from the Raider Nation as the OTAs begin. And will the Raiders host the 2020 NFL Draft here in Las Vegas? The city is one of 4 cities under consideration. UNLV Baseball, LV Lights, we've got the Las Vegas Aces, but we know the story of the moment is VGK. Tony Gradasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, production by Scott Gilbranson. We come to you live from the worldwide headquarters of U.S. Fantasy Sports. And first of all, gents, in the knighthood, the unthinkable, the improbable, and just 227 days after the puck dropped on the inaugural season, the expansion Vegas Golden Knights are now headed to the Stanley Cup Final after they wrap up their series against the Winnipeg Jets in just 5 games. So it's the 3rd time during these playoffs that VGK closes out a series on the very first try. So let's first of all welcome everyone, and let's begin by talking about the impact of the team on the city of Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. And I play that straight. You like that, huh?
No, I don't like it at all. You've lived in denial for the last 3 months with this. 3 months, Max? 6 months? You think from the start?
You guys can't tell me how to be a fan. If I want to be a fan, I'll be a fan.
You've been in denial for so long about this team.
I've been the most objective journalist in the city.
Something like
the most objective in the city.
No, what's your script say at the top? It said something about it's the best thing in the moment right now? Is that what you said?
I said John Castanino.
It's the story of the moment
signage of the city for VGK.
The best story of the moment.
Tony, I think I said
best story of the last 6 months.
I didn't say. I said, let's go.
There's a huge difference between being objective and being absolutely...
And being a fanboy.
Contrary.
Being a fanboy.
Contrary.
No, you guys have no clue.
You've been...
I'm the only, quote, alleged journalist in this city.
Check my Twitter bio. Oh, in the city. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me.
I said alleged. Covered all the bases. That has gone on the record as being objective and covering both sides. You wouldn't even know that they were playing another team.
Both sides? You've only covered one side.
Exactly.
So fanboy against the Golden Knights. That's what you've been. So how about the anti-fanboy, Tony Cordasco?
So let's talk about the impact. Let's talk about the impact of the team, first of all, on this city, the city of Las Vegas, and also here in Southern Nevada. It's been pretty big.
Well, you know what? I'll start out by talking about, we chatted with Danny Tarkanian the other day at Game 5, right? If anybody can give us a clear perspective, it's somebody that was in the middle of what happened in 1990 with the Runnin' Rebels, right? You're talking about another championship game, parade possibly only 2 in 30 years, right? And he just said, it's a lot smaller town back then. And it was 30 years ago. What did we have? 200,000 people in Vegas? I mean, if that.
More than that. It was must have had like 300.
You think it was that? I don't think it was that.
I think when they won the championship, it was around 500.
Well, still. So we're 4 times the size.
Yeah, and it's still tiny compared to what it is now.
And technology today wasn't what it was back then.
No social media. Did you talk about that?
Yeah, well, we talked about a lot of things with Dan. We were there. You were not at the watch party.
I went to another watch party.
You were invited.
You guys can't tell me how to be a fan.
Yeah, you did.
You don't know how to be a fan.
You're a fan. You can't tell me.
No, you just haven't been a fan.
Are there rules? Do I need to carry a card?
You just haven't been a fan. Anyway, let's get back.
Do I need to be a card carrying VGK fan?
All right, so Danny Tarkanian, a lot smaller city back then, and really, he was astonished with what this team has done. It's just so UNLV going into that basketball season was one of the powerhouse teams in the country. So they were expected to make a deep run, and they did, and they won it, and they won it because they were expected to win it. This Golden Knights team was not expected by anybody to do anything except the locker room that thought that maybe they could make the playoffs. That's all they went on the record with. Why can't we be a playoff team now? To get to this point that they are now is just astounding. And again, I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know, but it's just one of the most amazing sports stories ever.
You can draw similarities between the two when it comes to bringing in a fan base that maybe wasn't generally into a certain sport. You probably had a lot of people that didn't watch a ton of college basketball that really jumped onto the Rebels bandwagon, that were, Vegas natives or locals, and just loved the story, loved the team, loved Tark, everything that came with it. I'm sure there's a lot of similarities here with it because, in going anywhere in the city, you have people talking about Golden Knights. You have women and children who have never watched a game in their life tuning into every single game. You see Knights gear everywhere, on every car. I mean, no banners on the strip yet, unfortunately for John, but you see it everywhere, and it's really just taken this city to another level when it comes to sports. But it's also, for the first time, given this city a rallying point around a pro franchise, something on a national, on a global level even. I mean, this goes all throughout Canada, obviously, because they're such big hockey fans and now very salty, hating hockey fans, as it were, but just on such a larger scale than what we saw 30 years ago.
The most unlikely hero to all of you, but not to me.
He was chomping at the bit to go to this.
All he's been talking about.
Ryan Reeves, off the redirect in front of the net, tallies the game winner in the second period against Winnipeg. And this, again, is a defining moment in sports history in our city. The biggest goal, it has to be to date, right, for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, you can make that argument, Tony.
And someone said he wouldn't score at all. He's a liability.
Whoa, that wasn't liability.
He's one-dimensional.
Nobody said
And
liability.
You said he. What can he do? Well, he can knock people down.
What are you
and now he can
talking
score.
about?
And he has played well in the playoffs since entering in the series. And he's got 42 games of playoff experience. That's Ryan Reeves.
We might have the first simulcast punch in the face.
It's coming. It's coming. So, look, did I say he wasn't going to score a goal?
Yes. Yes.
Name one goal he scored since being a Golden Knight. Zero
The
until
game
then.
winner.
It's not like I went out on a limb with that take.
But I went on a limb.
You went out on a limb 6 months ago by saying this team was going to be terrible.
I went out on a limb. Come on, really? Everyone knew. Oh, yeah. Where's your ticket at 500 to 1?
You got him.
No,
Do your
where's
math.
his ticket at 500 to 1?
Do your math.
That's it.
We're going back to
Okay.
December.
So
December, Tony, when they had the best record
So
in the
did
West.
I or did I not say
not good at
that
months.
Ryan Reeves would score? You said he couldn't score. You said he wouldn't score. Come on, Matt. Step it up, man.
Why would
Man up,
I
man
think
up.
otherwise? Why would I think otherwise? The guy throughout 3
I didn't
months
say
of being
fan
with the
up.
Golden
I said
Knights.
man up. I said man up.
So me being contrarian to your absolute and utter love for Ryan Reeves is somehow fanboy. I think you're the one that's fanboying out right now.
I like where I
I
played
think
it in
you
the
have
middle.
a number 75 on underneath that
I
button-up
sure
shirt
do.
right there.
I sure do. I'm like that guy that keeps
You've got
taking off
Ryan
his shirt.
Reeves underwear.
75.
I know you
No,
do.
you have a William Karlsson jersey that I've seen
I'm going to wear it on Thursday.
quite often. And if you went through the
Vegas Bjorn.
the
I call
knockoff.
him. I call
No,
him Vegas
if you
Bjorn.
went to the knockoff website, you
did.
would have had a Reeves jersey in here weeks ago
Yeah, I
based
know.
on your fandom of Ryan Reeves, but you did not. So clearly not a fan of Ryan
Look,
Reeves.
Not a
You're just
fan.
Listen.
you're just contrarian, and you're just like, hey, Reeves is going to do it.
You
No way.
guys know me
Exactly.
enough you guys know me enough. I stir it up, yes, but you know that I'm a big fan of Ryan Reeves.
And
you know that I am.
Well, let me ask you this, Tony. Being such a humongous
42 playoff games, the
Shut up.
experience. Jeez.
Being such a huge fan of Ryan Reeves, tell me what you saw in his game throughout the course of his time with the Golden Knights that would suggest that he was going to come in and score goals. Moving on.
He had some good passes in front of the net.
No, I said score goals.
Yeah, well, he was getting
What
it
did you
deep.
see that would suggest that he would score goals?
You know what I saw? I saw John Castanino shooting videos of Reeves and deflections in
actually,
front of the net.
that was both
Very
of us.
very
actually,
popular
but
video.
okay.
Yeah, it was
Very
very,
popular.
popular on social
I
media.
know I helped you out a lot there. I produced that.
Yeah, all right,
So-
so let's jump to Gerard Gallant today a little
Okay,
bit
that's
because
fine.
he was George McPhee was yesterday, Gallant was today. The team will practice tomorrow at 11 a.m. Actually, 11 a.m. the next 2 days. So if you're interested in going out there, I'd say get there at 9 if you want a seat because it's going to be chaos at City National, and get there even earlier at like 7 if you want to get some championship
Man, the
championship
lines.
gear. But anyway, Gerard Gallant specifically asked, our boy Willie Ramirez asked Gallant about Reeves and the goon thug kind of label that has been put on Ryan Reeves and why they would bring in a guy like Ryan Reeves. Clearly, Gerard said they did not bring him in for his goal-scoring ability, okay? His last goal was 3.5 months ago with Pittsburgh, right? A forechecker that doesn't take penalties. He was wrong about that the first 2 games that Ryan Reeves was in uniform in Vegas. But good people, they can trust, and that's what the MO of McPhee has been since day one, and what Gallant has kind of latched onto, not saying that he wasn't that way before, but they could trust Ryan Reeves in the role that they gave him, not expecting him to score goals, but boy, that tip-in
was great.
Was amazing.
Great. And like Tony mentioned, we've seen him.
And it was about 15 feet away from the net, 15 feet away from the net, too.
Yeah. Hellebuyck had no shot at that. I mean, it went right above blocker side, right above his shoulder, off the deflection. And he's already down in the butterfly, getting ready to block a low-lying shot, and that thing just jumped up over the top of his shoulder. There was no chance he was going to make that save.
I was praying that goal would stand up and that Ryan Reeves would become the hero of the city, because not just you guys, but a lot of people were just giving him a hard time. And you said he would. Matt, come on, man.
People were not giving him a hard time.
You said that he wouldn't even play. You said he wouldn't play in the playoffs.
And what did I say, actually? I said pending injury, Ryan Reeves would not see
and that's
the ice.
Exactly,
and
that's
what
exactly
happened?
why he's on the ice.
Mr. Ascaris.
No, Mr. Reeves, go watch the tape.
Well,
that's exactly what I said.
Thankfully,
that's
now,
what I said.
Would Will Carrier have done the same kind of job? Well, he certainly established it in the Kings series, and he established it up until the point he got hurt. So, it all obviously, clearly, all worked out because everything that Gallant has done and everything that McPhee has done has really come up roses for this team.
Not only that, but have we not been all over how great Reeves has been playing since being inserted into the lineup, Game 6 against San Jose? We have been on your side 1,000% with
dominant.
this.
He's been dominant.
Dominant is an absurd statement.
He's been dominant.
He's not been dominant. He's been great on that
San
fourth
Jose
line
could
doing
not
his
even
job.
move him.
The fourth line as a whole has been, and I won't say dominant, but they've been excellent.
The puck never moved out of the VGK zone when he was inserted into the lineup against San Jose.
Bit of a reach, Tony, but they obviously did play great.
Here is one of the telling stats, right? Vegas has not trailed in a game in some 220 minutes of playoff hockey. Resilient, yes. Winnipeg ties up a game 3 times, right? And minutes, seconds later, the Golden Knights come back. They get the score. They get the tally. And it has to take emotionally, mentally, it has to take it out of you if you're playing against the Golden Knights.
Well, and here's the thing. And, you're talking about the Golden Knights. They're like drained, or what are you saying there? It's taking it out of the other team?
Take it out of the opponent.
Okay. I jumped the gun because I just figured you were saying something negative again about the Golden Knights. Like, it has to take.
If you would listen, I'm objective.
No.
If you would listen,
negative. 3-0 in closeout games. 3-0 in closeout games.
We said that. Yeah.
Excellent in closeout games. They've been phenomenal in closeout games.
That's right.
Penalty-wise, right? You look at penalties. You give Winnipeg four power plays in that game, and they don't score a power play goal, which thank God that didn't happen. But Gallant talking about, and really this goes back to the MO of what makes this team great, is that, Gallant is not really getting in anybody's grill over that. He talked about it today. He said 3 of those 4 penalties were unfortunate. They were just sticks that caught up in skates.
They were, yeah.
That was it.
And you can't, and
he goes, he's not.
That's what a good coach does, though.
Right. He's not going to be down on a player because they're playing aggressive.
But he hasn't been down on any players all season. When you go past, and I just read this quote a little while ago, he does not hold players accountable for their mistakes.
Let them play.
Did you hear that? He doesn't hold them accountable for their mistakes.
Yeah,
Clearly, they're professionals, and that's anti a lot of what coaches do, because they feel like they have to have some sort of control here over a situation, and that the only control a coach has is to really bear down on a player for making a mistake. But Gallant hasn't done that, and you've seen this team thrive.
Right, and Gallant says that when you're playing a fast game, sometimes penalties happen.
Right, and that's true. And you saw that with the tripping penalties and things like that. They weren't egregious penalties. But I think a lot of what Gallant has done is early in the season, he probably didn't really know what he had, even though they'd gone through camp. You don't know how lines are going to mesh. You don't know how players are going to react to certain things. So I bet a lot of it was just trying to feel his players out, let them go out there, make mistakes, get used to playing with each other. These are guys that, for the most part, hadn't had any real run with their previous teams. spot starts here and there, a lot of healthy scratches, never getting the ice time that they probably should have gotten. So let's not jump on them. Let's let them go out and play hockey and just kind of get a feel for what this team is. And it worked. So why change anything up? Just go with that philosophy.
So we're simulcasting right now. So maybe you're listening to us on Spreaker. You might be watching us on Facebook or New Edition Periscope today. But we've got comments coming in and want to read some of those. My favorite comment could be of all time. The only believer in the group is John. Matt and Tony go cheer the Sharks and Jets. Now, they got Matt wrong.
Whoa.
Hold on. Now,
Whoa.
Matt got Matt wrong. It's okay. Now, Matt may be a new viewer, Matt Evans, but I just love that.
John,
I love
Evans,
that comment.
we need to talk.
Spot on about Tony.
They're getting you confused with
the
Little
only
John,
believer.
with Little John.
But I go
no.
factual.
The only
factually.
Who is
Factually,
up in
I
the
believed
press
in this
box,
team.
The press area with pom-poms.
And I still have credentials. What do you know?
I know, because they allow cheering in that press section.
I want to know
I've
what
been
the hell
there.
Matt Evans is talking about. Where did this come from? In
So-
what world am I not on the side of the
we'll
Golden
see if
Knights?
it comes
Tony,
back,
wait
all right?
your turn. Where am I? Where am I not on the side of the Golden
it's okay.
Knights?
No, it's okay.
See,
it's okay.
what
He
I've
got
been able
Tony
to do
right.
is to get these guys unraveled. So what Gallant said today was that the team works hard, and that's been the key to their success. He felt as though Game 2 and Game 5 were the best games against Winnipeg. The closeout game, I thought, defensively was a gem. Did you guys see what I saw? No. Because I saw the video of Matt. And all I saw was a video of Matt
our
jumping
eyes are
up
a
and
lot
down.
younger.
No, I've got 4 of them. Okay, but all we saw was Matt jumping up and down.
How do you not
at the
jump
end.
up and down? This
I was
team is going to
high-fiving
play for a
people, but
Stanley
I'm not
Cup.
gonna be jumping up
How
and
do
down.
you not? How do you not get
Wait,
excited
are
about
you-
what's
Hold on,
happening?
don't
Are you
tell us how to be a
anti-Las
fan,
Vegas?
Tony.
Because now you're anti-Las Vegas
on,
if you're not
fanboys.
getting
I-
if you're not getting
I'm
into
anti-
this.
Now he's telling us how to be
I'm
fans,
anti-Las
John.
Vegas.
Telling
you
us
guys
how
were
to be
telling
fans.
me how to be a fan.
Now you're telling us how to be a
You're
fan.
you must be against
I
the
would
city
not
then.
be- No,
No, he's
I'm
a
just
New
going,
Yorker.
Now, are you
He's
an
a New
alleged
Jersey
journalist?
guy.
Are you an alleged journalist?
I'm a
Are
credentialed
you an alleged-
journalist.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, are you going to cheer on your Twitter
I don't-
handle?
I
Are you
don't
gonna-
know.
Let's blow them
I don't
out
know,
here.
but I'm
If you
credentialed for
have
the
a
Stanley
credential-
Cup, my friend.
If you have a credential and you are up in the press section,
Oh, man,
there's
stop
a certain
ranting about
way
that.
This is
you
the
have to handle
stupidest
yourself.
argument.
You have to go about your business.
Yeah, you don't cheer in the press box. Twitter is not the press box.
We're in a
if
new
I want to
era
go
of
on Twitter
journalism, my
and
friend.
say I'm happy about the
Let's
Knights
step
winning,
on the gas.
Why
I
are you
wanna
getting
go
so
on Twitter-
negative? Let's celebrate,
I
man.
wanna go
Celebrated
on
already.
Twitter-
I didn't have to jump up and down and put it on video
What's
to celebrate.
okay? So what did you do to celebrate?
I had a little slice of pizza.
are you allowed to wear your jersey, your fanboy
I
jersey
do
in the
wear
press
my
box?
jersey.
In the press box?
Yes, just like
Do
you
you?
guys do.
There you go.
I saw John and doing selfies with Chance and like, come on.
What are you talking
Okay, so
about?
anyway, so do we have any other comments?
Yeah, Glenn is asking if I need a date. I don't know what Glenn. I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm happy.
He's already taken.
Ring,
And Chance is
My
going.
wife, yeah,
He's going with
wife
Chance.
might be. I don't know. I love my wife. She's listening. Love you, honey. Don't leave me.
Glenn.
So
Tony won't change, says Jake Gutierrez. Yeah, nailed it.
East
Okay.
Coast. East Coast bias.
Nicholas, it's because he's old. Clearly, he knows Nicholas
Nicholas.
Colvin. Yep.
come on, man.
Yeah.
You guys gotta let that go.
Good
man.
comments.
All right,
I like
look.
it. Keep them rolling in.
Yeah. Okay, because they're ganging up on me or they're trying to. But let's talk about the goaltending of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah,
Sensation.
let's do that.
Okay, I'm trying to keep balance here and make it topical. It's not just about
Make it
you.
topical. It's
Not
been
just about you.
topical for 6 months.
Okay, so Fleury now looking for his third Stanley Cup. In the first period, I thought he was gassed.
He
I
was
really
hurt.
did think he was hurt, and I thought he was gassed.
Well, he was hurt.
And he
I don't-
came up with some big saves, but I've not seen
Tony,
him.
they're going to have a week off before they play the next game.
Explain to me the
you know what?
gassed. Hold on. Explain to me the gassed theory
Okay.
of yours
Did
because
you see anything with him?
I saw one goal allowed.
Did you see him?
He was fantastic.
He was like a lineman with his hands on his hips. He was bent over.
Wait,
he
so-
was trying to catch his breath.
So a
It
hockey
came in the
player was
first-
tired in the middle of a game, in the middle
He
of a
got a
Stanley
second-
Cup
got a
playoff
second
run,
win,
game
but we've not
97 in
seen
the
him- we've
season.
not-
How dare he
We've
be
not
tired?
seen him to this degree being this beat up
He
or
gave
this
up
tired.
one goal. What are you talking
It's
about?
not about
He-
goals.
with
It's about being
33
the fatigue.
saves?
The
Tony,
fatigue
it's
had set in.
absurd.
The
Tony,
fatigue had set in.
he
It's the
wasn't
most
tired. He
absurd
pulled
argument.
a muscle to some degree.
Okay.
Now, Pierre LeBrun tweeted it at some point.
Correct.
Said he saw Fleury limping around.
And he was.
And he's but
But you guys
fatigue
didn't see
is
it.
different than hurt,
Yeah,
Tony.
In the
you
first
saying? So
period,
which
you guys
argument
are
are you
jumping
going
up
with?
and down. You didn't even let my man score a goal, and you already were jumping up and down. You didn't let Reeves get a deflection and score a goal. And
Jake Gutierrez.
Tony, which is it? Was he hurt or was he injured?
So anyway,
or was he tired or was he injured?
I think it was fatigue, and I think
Fatigue.
he
Now,
got hurt.
Fatigue and injury are
He was
different.
fatigued.
Yeah.
He was fatigued. He was fatigued. He was absolutely.
He did the
fatigued.
splits and pulled a
luckily-
muscle.
And luckily,
I hope he's
the
okay.
the period ended.
He's not tired.
He was able to. No, he was tired.
He's the only one though.
In the first
rest
period.
of the NHL
He
is
was
just
fatigued.
fine right now.
He was fatigued.
Fleury's the one we got to worry about.
The Flower
Come on,
now
man.
12-3 in playoffs, 1.68 goals against average.
Yeah, and
Tired.
that's a tired goalie.
947 save percentage, 4
Jesus.
shutouts. I still say there's going to be one game where there's going to be an. They're not playing the Atlas.
One game,
He
one
gave up
series,
6
one
goals
road
in 4
trip.
games to close out the series.
Okay, but sooner or later, it's gonna. I'm telling
Is
you,
it-
it's
is
going to
it-
be
Oh
different.
my
it
gosh!
December again?
You have been,
We're
you've
back
been
in
saying
December.
this, since before December.
Well, this is good. This is the whole
My
road
God!
trip.
And you're going to wait for the Stanley Cup final.
This
oh, it's,
road trip
oh,
is gonna
they
be
couldn't.
hard.
They couldn't clinch the Stanley Cup. I told you so. I told you they would not win the Stanley Cup.
We're going to do. You know what? You and the Fanboy
My
Nation are
gosh.
still going to have a parade here.
I'm leading
And-
the
and we're
Fanboy
gonna-
Nation.
we're gonna-
Give me a
you know
flag.
what?
I'm
You know
marching
what?
down the damn
It's
strip.
they're not going to get the Stanley Cup if they lose. They're
Do
all
it-
getting participation trophies, and we're going to have a huge freaking celebration on the strip.
Question for Facebook. I need to know now. Do we yell too much? Because Tony just aggravates the crap out of us all the time.
So
And I
much.
feel like we're just yelling too much. So question for Facebook or any other entity that you're watching us on. Do we yell too much?
Did you see what Jake put on here? Waiting for Tony.
Yeah.
to
Oh, I was going to
criticize-
say it, but we were arguing.
Yeah, waiting for
Tony.
Tony to criticize Flower. You're becoming predictable, is what he's saying.
Have
Yeah.
You are
I've
becoming
criticized-
predictable.
No, I've never criticized.
Oh, he's
Fleury.
tired. He's tired.
I'll tell you
That's
what.
a criticism.
I'll tell you one thing. Mark AF. That's what I call
Predictable.
him. I call him Mark AF.
Nicholas
and I
says we
also
yell
call
too
him
much.
Mayflowers. Okay, but
Yeah,
he
so
definitely
tone it down.
deserves. He deserves the C. He deserves the C.
Wait, Nicholas says,
He deserves the C.
yes, we yell too much, but we can't blame you. Thank you.
I want
Thank you,
Fleury
Nicholas.
to get the C. If you're going to have your crusade
Sure.
against signage in this city, my crusade is that Marc-Andre Fleury
Okay.
should be wearing the sweater.
I thought
that
your
has the
crusade
C.
was Ryan Reeves. What are you
I
talking
don't.
about?
He doesn't even know what
He
his
just
crusade
changes
is
it
anymore.
at a whim. I
Le
get it.
Van Gossans. I'm going to have to come up with some new slogans for the next series.
Only 2
Yeah.
goalies that have been lights
Like
out consistent
Stanley
through
Cup
these
champions.
playoffs is Fleury and Quick. And had the Kings not played the Knights round 1, they probably would have faced off
Good point.
round 2.
Good point. I'd have to agree there because Quick was unbelievable. We saw, I think, another key.
Oh, sorry, Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm sorry, Tony. I really do apologize for interrupting you. Conn Smythe entering the round. Fleury plus
Marchessault now.
plus 8.
Marchessault is the Conn Smythe winner.
What? We need to replace. If anybody out there can host this show, please send us a resume, and it won't take that much credentials to beat out this guy because
It's
we
not
could use
I
often
call
I'm
him
rendered
Mayassault. I
speechless,
call him
but
Mayassault.
good
I
God,
don't call him
man.
Marchessault.
Conn Smythe, Marc-Andre Fleury was plus 800 entering this series. He is now minus 120 to win the Conn Smythe.
It's not even a question at this point, right?
Golden Knights 500-1 at the start of the preseason. Now minus $1.10 to win the Stanley Cup.
Somebody tweeted
Insane.
that out today.
Insane.
Yeah. So I thought that another huge key in the series again, and eventually, a telltale sign of like how the Golden Knights, how the series played out, and just again how they were able to make the necessary adjustments was the play in the third period of games. In the last series by Winnipeg because they were able to turn them back on several
Right.
occasions, and they made, I think, the absolute necessary adjustments. I think the defense, in the first period was good. Third period, not so much. But, again, the result was still in favor of VGK. The one series, again, and the one period that stands out is when Winnipeg was held to just 3 shots on net, went around 13 minutes without a shot on goal. Remember that in the first period of Game 2, right? 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a big defensive stand. So,
Well, what does it tell you about this team that, again, 3-0 in closeout games, and Winnipeg, with their season on the line in Games 4, essentially in Game 4 their season was on the line, and then definitely in Game 5, the Golden Knights just kind of brushed them off. I mean,
don't get soft on us with that voice. You don't have to
I'm
go.
just trying to tone
you don't have
down.
To go, you don't have to go inside voice.
Nicholas is really upset with Marshy. Really? Marshy?
Marshy.
Marshy?
He likes that.
Marchie.
Marchie.
Yeah,
Really?
It's a ridiculous call, Tom.
All right, let's give Fleury the C. Give him the C.
You have to be impressed. You have to be impressed with the way they played Winnipeg. This is a team that only lost 7 games in regulation at home all year. One of those being to the Golden Knights. They hadn't lost 4 in a row all season, much like the Golden Knights. They haven't lost 4 in a row all season. They looked dominant for stretches in Game 1 against the Knights, and then you go with these 4 games where they would not allow Winnipeg to do anything that made them successful throughout the course of the season.
That's not a fluke. That's
not
one of the best teams in the NHL.
If you listen to the Jets talk, it's luck. It's all luck. It's bounces here and posts there, and
that's what
Hellebuck
said
talking about the
today.
stars aligning. BS. You lost 4 in a row to a better team. You cannot talk about luck when this team scored 109 points throughout the course of the season. They've lost 3 games through the course of the playoffs, and they're now the Western Conference champions playing for the Stanley Cup.
You said Winnipeg
That's
would
not
beat.
luck.
You said Winnipeg would beat the Golden Knights.
I said that early.
I'm
before
glad
the
you
series
mentioned this
started.
because now I want this cleared up.
Well, we're going to call
Clear
out
it up
everyone.
because Matt initially did pick the Jets to win
Right.
the series.
And that
I'm the
was-
only one here
No,
that
no,
did
no,
not
that's
pick
wrong.
against.
I picked the
You
Jets.
picked against the
I
Knights.
picked the
You picked
Jets.
against the Knights.
I picked.
You picked against the Knights.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
No,
We'll
I
check
picked
the tape.
Nashville.
We'll check
Go
the
back
tape.
to the tape.
Yes, you picked against the
I
Knights.
picked Nashville would beat the Golden Knights,
And then you picked
and
against
I
the
picked
Knights.
the Golden Knights in 6 to beat Winnipeg.
Oh, sorry. You picked against the Knights.
I said
I'm the only one that
I
didn't
said
pick
when the
against
playoffs
Knights.
started that
I
that
guess
the,
he can't hear.
before the playoffs started, I said the Knights' run would end in the Western Conference Finals against
Yes.
either the Jets
Yep.
or the Predators. During the Sharks series, watching those two teams play each other, the Preds and the Jets, I said it doesn't matter who they play, they're going to end up winning this series, and I picked the Knights in 6 to beat the Jets once that series came about. So, no, I didn't pick the
I
Jets.
want to talk about the Vegas forechecking. It really picked up in this series. I think that was an improvement.
Stifling.
Starting in the second game. What game was that? They won 9 out of 10 faceoffs.
That was game 2. Correct.
That was game 2.
Game
yeah,
two.
yeah. Game 2. Winnipeg, I thought, again, because I'm fair and balanced, but I think Winnipeg on the power play, I think they held the puck too long. And I don't think we're going to see either of the next 2 teams, be it Tampa or Washington, on power play opportunities.
Did you see
They were
what they
trying
did
to
in the
pass
power
too
play
much.
in Game 5?
It was
They
horrible.
shut down Scheifele in Game
Yeah, they
5.
just
That's
shut the-
exactly what they did.
They took away Peralt. And
They
took
couldn't get a
away
shot
Scheifele.
off because they
took
took
away-
out
they-
Scheifele.
Scheifele and
It's
Peralt.
not
Peralt
because
couldn't
of
do
what the
anything.
Knights did. It's because of what
So-
the Jets did negatively.
So we can
that
guarantee
allowed
that there's going to be a
them
lot
to
more
be so
quick
good
shots.
on the penalty kill.
For teams to be successful, they need to fire shots at Fleury. They need to get the rebound opportunity. I think we're going to see this in the next series.
So hold on. So the opposing team needs to fire shots at Fleury to be
Winnipeg.
successful. Winnipeg outshot the Knights in every game. Were they
Winnipeg-
successful?
Look at their
Were
look
they
at their
successful?
Power play.
Were they successful?
There were about 20,
Were
30
they
seconds that went
successful?
by as they're passing the puck around the perimeter
because
before
they
they
didn't
even
get
took
the
a
shot that they wanted.
Tony, if you get into
Scheifele
the
was
passing
the only
lanes
one
and
that
you
could
shut
score.
guys down,
And
that's
again-
why it's called a penalty kill,
and again-
not a please come score on
And
us
again,
kill.
you take a wrister when there's traffic in front. You don't go and try to take slap shots. Even I know that, and I'm allegedly a journalist.
Jake
Allegedly.
Gutierrez, I will be at your next broadcast to co-host. I'll even keep the shouting to a minimum.
Will you wear the
Jake?
tux?
Tiffany says the reason the Knights have been winning is because Tony always picked the other team. Remember?
I didn't pick
There
the
you
other
go.
team. I didn't pick. I picked the Golden Knights in this
And,
last
and,
series.
and Jake is right. His prediction came true.
know.
Said sweep after game 1.
And he said sweep in the Kings series. I hope
Pops
he's right again.
Pops is on point.
Yeah.
They can't do anything wrong. Whatever Gerard Gallant does is right. It's just every move has just been absolutely golden. There's nothing
No
they can
pun
do
intended.
wrong. They can't do anything wrong.
They can't.
It's
every
a
move
different
he's
hero
made has
every
been great.
night. Every
Yeah.
single somebody goes down. Oh, okay, let's just put this guy in, scores a goal.
How about
been
how about
amazing.
I've never seen anything
It's
like
a great
that.
team concept.
How about this
just
for the four-game-
chemistry,
Yep.
and the fact that he's been able to really have a good feel for this team. That's the thing that really is impressive to me.
4-game win streak against Winnipeg to close out the series? The goal that started it all, Tomas Tatar, traded for at the deadline. The goal that finished it all, Ryan Reeves, traded for at the deadline.
Who?
Even McPhee has been able – I mean, obviously he put the team together, but even these deadline moves that didn't look like they were going to work in certain spots throughout the last couple of months of the season turn out to be the starting and ending point of a 4-game 4-game sweep essentially of the Jets after that first game.
Before we take a break here at the top of the hour, George McPhee yesterday spoke about not disrupting the locker room, right, a trade deadline, and then Gallant said that, that they really wanted to make sure that they kind of kept everything even keel. He said that they felt like they already had a good team by the trading deadline, but they just wanted to add a little bit more strength and some depth at the trade deadline. So he knows the players. He knows their strengths and weaknesses. This has been, to me, just watching Gallant and the way that he's been able to coach this team is the most impressive part of this season. Yep. And we learned this. You guys were talking about UNLV basketball and the Running Rebels in 1990. Well, what really amazed me at that time was Jerry Tarkanian able to coach that much talent. Because you have to keep players happy. Everyone assumed their proper roles on that team. Everyone just listened to the coach, and they had the plan. And his assistant coaches, and to me, that's what made, the 1990 Running Rebels, a big success. It's harder, I believe, to coach talent than it is just, to have average players on your team. So,
well, these players now have proven they're not average players anymore. I think that they've shown it in other places, but there's something special in the water here in Las Vegas.
Okay, are they going to repeat next year then? And
after the break.
You know what?
After the break.
Yeah, and we've got questions, too, from some viewers, so stand by.
We only saw 13 players.
Stand by.
We only saw 13 players have career best seasons.
Tony's got to get in the last word, though, just in case you're new to what we do. Tony
we'll
always
15 players.
He's got to talk
with their
and
career
then he's
best.
got to okay.
So coming up in our second half hour, we'll continue to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll be back with more.
2 minutes?
Mac
A minute
Gutierrez,
30.
John Castanino, Scott Colbranson
Really quick.
producing from the worldwide headquarters of U.S. Fantasy Sports. This is the Sports Adrenaline Simulcast. Yeah.
Play and win big from participating U.S. states on the U.S. Fantasy Sports mobile app. U.S. Fantasy is the first to bring Common Pool daily fantasy contests to your mobile device. It's fast, it's fair, and funding is a breeze. All your favorite sports and athletes are offered in our daily contests with multiple options to submit win entries, exact twos, and pick twos. Don't get sucked into the high takeouts from the others. Track real-time odds, pool amounts, and a simple, easy-to-understand scoring system in our brand new app. Win more with U.S. Fantasy Sports, now in the iTunes App Store and downloadable for Android on our website, usfsports.us.
Are you a member of Raider Nation? Do you bleed silver and black? If you do, then you won't want to miss our new show, the Silver and Black Today Show, Sundays from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m. here in Las Vegas. We'll bring you national guests, have Raiders news and analysis, and take your phone calls. Join me, Scott Colbranson, Scott Winter, and Matt Gutierrez as we talk Raiders every Sunday morning. That's the Silver and Black Today Show, Sundays from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on 1140 a.m. CBS Sports Radio in Las Vegas.
The Southern Nevada Laborers will give you the skills and knowledge to become part of a workforce that's strong and committed. Call Southern Nevada Laborers at 452-9410 to get the training you need for a better future. We offer courses that will put you on the right track. Our cutting-edge instruction will keep you on top where you belong. Become highly skilled and highly valuable. Become a proud union laborer. Southern Nevada Laborers, 452-9410. Call today.
And welcome back for our second half hour here on the Sports Adrenaline Podcast, Facebook Live Show, Periscope. Tony Cardasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, production by our good friend Scott Colbranson. We come to you live from the worldwide headquarters of U.S. Fantasy Sports, and a lot happening, John, with U.S. Fantasy Sports.
Yeah, so U.S. Fantasy behind a couple brands. U.S. Fantasy, if you're watching on the simulcast, usfsports.us. Daily Fantasy.
Is that what Vanna does?
No salary caps, no lineups, so it's very unique, but also really what you need to be watching out for in Nevada. And then it's going to grow quickly across the country is the new U.S. bookmaking app. It's going to offer the best odds in Nevada. I said the best odds in Nevada. So if you do make any sports bets, keep an eye out for this app. Every straight bet starts at minus $1.08. Typically, it starts at minus $1.10, so you're saving 20% right off the top, and then their parlays pay out a heck of a lot better. You can go on Facebook, just search U.S. Bookmaking, like that page there, and keep tabs when that app will be released in the coming weeks.
Hey, the Vegas sportsbooks stand to take a beating if the Golden Knights win. And at this point, the way people can hedge and, off their bets and what have you, I mean, really it could be just monumental losses here for the sports books. I was tweeting out the other night, and Jake Hornegay responded from the Westgate Hotel Superbook, and he said that his establishment stands to lose in the mid-six figures. Now, one of the local casinos here in town, there's a story going around with some poker players that I know, and at this locals casino, he had a $1,000 bet, this one guy, at 500 to 1 odds, 500 to 1 odds at the start of the season. And
it's incredible.
Whoops, I almost said, yeah, I did say.
Oh, you
okay, so Station Casinos reportedly has offered to pay off this guy $200,000.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, don't take it.
Don't take it.
But yeah,
no, because
you got to
now
offer
can
him the
hedge.
money. Yeah.
They offered him $200,000.
Yeah.
And he stands to make $500,000. And even if you off the bet and you bet the other side, $250,000.
Right, you still win $50,000 is $50,000.
Yeah. And I still would, and now it's even more sophisticated because you could bet in games, right? You have in-game lines and things change. I mean, you can just go there with a wad of money, I think, and probably make even more money.
Would you let it ride?
No, absolutely not.
Not with that kind of money.
No, not with $500,000.
Not with that kind of money.
That's half a million to the winner, man.
Stations also did something where I think they're going to lose a lot more money as well, and that is I have a ticket through the slot club. I don't play slot.
Yeah, the $2 ticket.
Okay, no, it's $5.
$5
at 4 to 1 odds, and you could go if you put it into this machine. You can get anywhere from $5 to $250 at 4 to 1 odds for them to win the Stanley Cup. So that's got to be thousands of people.
Yeah, the Vegas is going to shut down overnight.
I think it's done.
You think that's it? It's going to close up shop thanks to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hey,
I don't think that's happening.
We have
a ton of comments. We have a ton. So sit tight if you're with us.
Don't just read your family's comments, okay?
Ryan K. Egan.
Hey, Ryan, that's someone new?
Living in Colorado, Flower has been very Wah-esque these playoffs. And sticking with the goalies, Nicholas Colvin, who's been chiming in. And by the way, if you're new to us, please give our page a like. Just go to wherever it is, click on Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas, give us a like, and you'll get notified.
What was that guy's name? That last person?
Ryan K. Egan.
Ryan K.
Ryan
K. You'll like this one. I had a good conversation with Pierre Lacroix the other night.
Colvin, who's been chiming in. And by the way, if you're new to us,
we got a little feedback there.
Just go.
Okay,
so we're back online.
Okay, so Pierre Lacroix, former Nordique and Whaler, played for those two storied franchises, but the two-time Stanley Cup general manager with the Colorado Avalanche. So he lives here.
Okay. Thank you, Tony.
So he's got 2 rings.
All right. Here's a great question from Nicholas. Who scares you more, Holtby or Vasilevsky? I feel the Knights game could easily frustrate both players and get in their heads.
Vasilevsky. Because Holtby's been less consistent
he's
this year.
cat-like. Vasilevsky, that glove save last night was absolutely insane.
Again, I think Vasilevsky's a more consistent
They're both very good
goaltender this season.
Yeah.
But not only that, do you not want to see the Knights have home ice? I think that's
exactly right.
No, it hasn't mattered because, again, 3 series they've closed out on the road. They've been great on the road. They've been great at home. It really doesn't seem to matter where they play right now because they're just playing better than everybody
6-2
else.
on the road, 6-1 at home.
But wouldn't you rather see them have home? Not just for the fact that it's better for them in the series. The fact that the Golden Knights in their inaugural season, Western Conference champs, in the finals, and then to have home ice on top of it, it's like
I just feel like it's got to open in Vegas. Like Game 1 has to be in Las Vegas.
Be amazing.
Carrie Underwood singing the national anthem. It would be.
It's going to be Carnell. I would like to see.
So
somebody beside Wayne Newton.
So did you see
on the hold on? Sorry,
did you see
can get to that.
Did you see in the
somebody
game
suggested
last night?
It was Nicholas suggested that Blair Johnson crank the horn.
I love the idea of bringing back some of the running rebels.
It should
to get in
that
here
would be amazing.
Just put a few of them up in the castle.
Doesn't
Ogman,
take a genius
Anthony,
to figure
Johnson.
this stuff out.
Nicholas
did
place
it.
would go nuts.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't already. Let's be honest.
Holtby and Vasilevsky. Last night, I don't know if you caught the comments in Game 6, but the bench for Washington was telling on the power play, whoever the lines that were out there, to go top shelf because they found a weakness there with Vasilevsky. So hopefully the Golden Knights are paying attention to this if it comes down to that and they play Tampa. Go ahead.
Jets goalie couldn't handle the shots from our strong offense, and Fleury barely gave them an opportunity. This is why I think the Knights
it
won.
wasn't, and it wasn't just Fleury. The defense really stepped up.
Phenomenal.
It just stepped up in front of them. I mean, a lot of shots weren't even reaching the goal. So
throughout the course of the playoffs, they've been like that. I mean,
they improved. They got better. They got better in each series.
Yeah, but regardless, they've been so good at not allowing teams to get into their flow offensively for the majority of every single period. Again, there's been a couple stretches here and there. Sharks game 4, Jets game 1, but for the most part, they've just shut people down.
After we win the cup, this is from Jake, Tony can follow behind with a shovel and broom to clean up what the horses drop.
No, I'm actually going to be I'm going to be on the bandwagon, during the parade. They actually have a bandwagon. By the way, they're already planning on a Stanley Cup
I would hope
parade for the Strip.
You got to be ready.
Now here I like this. Maybe not for Game 1, Chad, but should VGK try to go retro and see if they can get Thunder jerseys for one game next season? One game next season.
Next
the
season,
red jersey,
of course.
The third jersey is going to be red.
I hope so.
Or blue.
Yeah.
It's not going to be blue.
They do need to come with an alternate.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should wear Thunder jerseys.
The red,
and Wranglers
the
jerseys.
red alternate,
that would be so cool.
The red alternate with the secondary logo on it, I think would be great.
I don't know if the NHL will
Why
allow
in the
that,
world does this franchise have
what?
just
No,
one
the
bobblehead night
Thunder, not the Red.
and it's chance? Just one bobblehead night and it's chance.
Next year, they're going to have to come up with a bunch of this.
Okay.
Things.
That's the
these
contention for the season? Is not enough bobblehead nights?
Just one.
Man.
Everybody's got Carnell's back, replacing Carnell. That is, in modern parlance, cray-cray, says Jack.
Okay,
it is
Jack.
crazy, but I still would like to see a star.
I still would like to see a star.
I love Carnell. I do love
yes,
Carnell.
absolutely.
He can do game 1. Have somebody else do game 2.
We need to have someone
Yeah,
else.
Celine.
Does it
that's
really-
right. No Canadian
Does it
anthem.
really
Never
make
mind.
a difference?
No, we could still do the Canadian
Does it really
anthem.
make a difference? Is
It
anybody
doesn't.
going to be
It doesn't make a
upset
difference.
if you don't
It
see a
doesn't make a
celebrity?
difference.
Right here,
You're
we
upset
need a
about
celebrity.
everything.
We need a celebrity. We need more
You're
celebrities.
the get off my lawn guy now, Tony.
Wayne Newton, cranking it.
Yeah.
No, he
Did
struggled.
you see how low it was?
He
It was like.
Wayne, the Wainer.
Jim
You would have
Rome-
seen strain
Jim
in
Rome
his
was
face if
tearing
it wasn't
into
so
a
plastic.
today. It was
Oh, that's
great.
great.
It was
Yeah, let's quote that guy.
Sorry, I love
Right.
Jim
You're
Rome.
spending some quality time. I wanted to talk, too, about, again, there's going to be another break. And the guys from the Knights of the Round Table messaged me, and this is good, that Vegas will have 20 days rest in between games, which is almost unheard of. It really is in playoffs.
Yeah, it's like an extra month off.
Think about that.
When you talk about vacation days, 20 vacation days, that's a month off.
And the
This
rest
series-
only hurt him
Yeah.
in the last series against Winnipeg because they lost game 1.
We have to
blame it
I
on
don't even
2
wanna say
things.
it hurt 'em.
We have to blame it on the rust and, of course, the NBC-SN announcing crew.
Stop pointing at me.
I don't-
Tony. You're making me uncomfortable.
Everything makes you uncomfortable,
Yeah,
John.
it's-
Man,
I don't know what he's pointing at me for.
I don't. You know, the way that Winnipeg came out in that game, I don't think it would have mattered if Vegas had rest or not. The Jets were riding such a high off of that Game 7 win in Nashville. I think they were going to win Game 1 no matter what happened. But you saw as soon as that high that they were on came down a little bit, the Knights started to play better within that game, and then from that point on, it was all Golden Knights for the series. So
Jonathan Bowen, whoever the Knights play, they'll face a team with as many losses in their last round as the Knights have total in the playoffs.
yeah, and the rest thing I don't know is going to matter as much once you get into this series because the series doesn't start till Monday. It's Monday, Wednesday for the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 days off.
You have some breaks
and
in
then,
there.
Long
Yeah.
breaks.
Right, and then Saturday, Monday, and then 2 days off, and then 1 game, 2 days, 1 game, 2 days, 1 game if you need 7. So they're going to have way more time off in this series than the normal series up to this point.
Gallant talked about that today, having these stretches during the Stanley Cup final. He didn't care.
No.
Doesn't matter. Didn't care. Says his team's going to play hard no matter what. So.
Will we see West Coast finesse against a more rugged, Eastern Conference style of play?
You're going to see what you've
The
seen all
Caps-
year.
The Caps' hard-hitting game. Hard-hitting game in Game 6. Has Vegas been in a game where the checking's been this hard? Outside of Game 1 where there was 220.
Nobody's heavier than the Jets.
227
The
hits.
Jets with Dustin Bufflin
Hold
is
on.
the biggest
No.
and fastest team in the league.
But they were
Let's-
227 hits
All right.
in the first game against the Kings.
All
Remember?
right, here we go. You ready?
Go back.
You ready? Opening series. The Kings are too heavy for the Knights. They're going to beat them up. Playoff hockey is different. 4-game sweep. The second series, the Sharks are
by
just
1 goal a game,
the Sharks are just
really
like the
way.
Knights.
Go ahead.
They're as fast as the Knights, maybe a little bigger, heavier. 6-game series. Goodbye, Sharks. The Jets series, bigger, faster, stronger. 5-game series. Goodbye. Now we're going to go to Tampa Bay and Washington as being the most suddenly heavy teams in the NHL.
They're not going to be heavier than the Jets.
On, man.
Or the Kings.
Come on, Tony.
They might be a little bit faster than the Jets.
That Washington game last night and the checking is going to give them problems.
Well, I mean, that was desperation from the Capitals. Are you kidding? They were fighting for their lives in that game. That's what you're going to get.
What has given the Knights
supposedly the
Jets
were fighting for their lives the other night, and they didn't show the Knights anything. They brushed them off their shoulder like it was nothing.
I know. You are long-suffering fanboys. I mean, 7 months later, and here we are. I mean, you're just long.
John, what city did you grow up in? John, what city did you grow up in?
So I've been born and raised in Vegas and lived here for 37 years and never had a major league franchise
39
to call my own. So I'm long-suffering enough.
But you're not a native, man.
Well, that's basically
Jersey boy,
being a native.
Jersey. Who's your team? You up until you got your pretty new iPhone X there, you had that Rangers gear on the back of your phone.
Yeah, I still need to get a cover for the Rangers.
Yeah, you do.
But I know where I came from.
Yeah, exactly. And you grew up in a city that had multiple teams.
Yeah.
You had multiple teams.
It was unbelievable.
We've never had a pro team. Ever. In our entire lives,
yes,
never had a pro team
Rebels of 1990.
in Las Vegas.
We had a pro team
that played in college, so
Rebels.
it didn't count. They played in college, so it didn't count.
Do we have any more comments coming in?
We do. I'm a long-suffering Las Vegan. Thank you very much.
I second that.
7 months later, and here we are.
Let's see here. Joey Lamelli, why are there such long breaks in the final? I'm guessing it's just for TV and ratings.
Yeah,
that's really
ratings.
Right. It's starting on Memorial Day, and then you want to get as many weekends in there as possible, so that's why they're not playing
my dad just trumped
Thursday
Tony.
or Friday games. Wasn't Lefevre just inducted into the Southern Nevada Sports Hall? Maybe he should crank the horn. Oh, Patrice Lefebvre. Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah,
Thunder.
Patrice
Okay.
Lefebvre.
Nick Papagiorgio should sound the horn. Anybody but Wayne Newton, maybe. But here's the big question from Nicholas. Officiating so far in this playoff run. You know you're going to get the negative from Tony.
It's a non-factor. Non-factor.
Can I finish
Unless you're a Jets fan.
Non-factor.
Listen to the Jets fans.
No, it's a non-factor.
They are all over.
And all of those goals throughout the playoff run by VGK, goalie interference, not. There was no goalie interference in any of those, and that's my stance. And you know what? Just roll with it.
Just let him finish.
I thought they waved
Just
off.
tolerate.
Why are you going back?
Minutes.
They waved off penalties
game
in Game
2?
6. They were waving off
Go
penalties.
back to Game 2 of Round 2.
I mean, this was
you
seriously, it was
going
well
back to
officiated.
Sharks
Okay,
series?
so what's the qualm? What's the beef?
Most of my ha-ha funny videos, Nicholas, we'd love to see some of those. Send us the link. I bash the officials because it's hard to teach new hockey fans when the inconsistency is all over the place and goalie interference is a joke.
It is a joke. It's like the catch rule in football. It's an absolute joke.
Not one of those calls.
But fortunately,
it
was irrelevant. That all 3 goalie interference calls went against the Knights.
And you said all 3 were wrong. You said all 3 were wrong.
Here's the problem. There was no rhyme or reason to overturn any of those. They overturned a made goal in favor of the Sharks. They allowed a goal that was waved off, so they overturned a waved off goal against the Knights again.
Absolutely right.
I mean, every call went against the Knights in a different way.
Well, there's no standard as far as goalie interference goes, which is clear, right? Where there was not enough evidence on the ice to overturn that ruling in Game 1. There was not. Sorry, I mean, I saw a forearm come out, but you can't say that was the interference
Jones had
that led
time
to the
to
goal
recover.
or
he had time
whatever
to recover
it was. Yeah.
and just didn't make the
yeah,
save.
You can't overturn that call on the ice based on that evidence. You can't overturn it, but they did.
It didn't affect his ability to save the goal. And
I didn't see any. Not one of those calls was wrong.
Yeah.
Not one.
But
it was a long time ago.
The referee on the ice made the right call in that instance, and they overturned it.
Right.
As far as penalties go,
I
feel like it's been all against the Knights, but it hasn't mattered.
Which is funny because
it's gonna level out. It's gonna level out, and Vegas is gonna get some breaks in
games 4
Vegas
and 5.
is gonna get some breaks.
Games 4 and 5 penalties
overwhelmingly
were 4-2 in favor of the Jets.
Yeah, overwhelmingly they've
Come at me with a stat, bro.
I'm not
Come at me,
whining.
bro.
I'm just saying it's gone against the Knights. It hasn't mattered, but I'm saying a majority of calls have gone against
That's a lame.
Vegas.
4-2, Tony.
That's an absolutely
The last two games, 4-2. In what way is that lame?
It's lame.
They lost the penalty battle in both games. The Knights did 4-2.
There were multiple. Was
Okay,
it game four that there was a hooking call that the referees missed?
They missed.
Yeah.
They missed
Yeah,
quite
they
a few
missed
on both
calls.
sides.
That's what I'm talking
They
about.
let them go, and they waved off penalties.
They missed calls.
They let them go. They let them just
In
it's
favor
playoff
of
hockey.
who?
It's playoff hockey.
In favor of who?
You know what? Here's my analogy. Like hip hop. It's hip hop. People artists show up late in hip hop. They swear. They do. It's hip hop. It's expected. It's hip hop. Okay, so it's playoff hockey.
That's your answer?
That's it. It's
Okay,
hip hop.
let me pick a
know how
topic
to
here. Let me
address
see if
that.
I can figure out something. Gallant on George McPhee. Would George McPhee have a spot on Gallant's
It's
team?
hilarious.
And he said, they'd find a spot for George McPhee. Called him a tough player and said maybe they'll stuff him on the fourth line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great fit. Maybe filling in for Ryan Reeves.
Oh no.
Oh no! You kidding me? MVP, man.
MVP.
Roommates with Steve Yzerman. So if they do play Tampa Bay, right? Stevie Y is the general manager of the Lightning, and these two were roommates, good friends. They say they text each other a little bit back and forth, but really don't talk to each other.
So did you see what I had posted?
No, I don't
try
follow.
not to
I don't
much
pay
attention
attention.
to you.
The
Yeah.
arrival of Marchessault comes in his Lamborghini,
Lambo.
and Gallant comes in a cab. They have to
No, that-
they
that-
have to
I did
deliver
see
him
that.
in.
That
They
was
have to
good.
deliver him in a
Yep,
cab.
Gerard
And
took
people are
that
stealing
cab
it.
all the way
And
to the
people
Stanley
steal-
Cup final.
And people are stealing. They're stealing my freaking memes. They
Sorry,
steal
that's a horn.
my post. VGK hasn't. You know what? They haven't stolen one of my tweets in a while.
You know what they don't
For
steal?
crying out loud.
Your ridiculous contrarian
yeah,
stance on this
contrarian.
team.
Yeah,
that's what they don't
I
steal.
just do it just because. So. Go ahead.
A little
Go ahead,
salt-
John.
well,
Don't
a
let
little
me interfere.
salt- yeah, I
Are
know.
there any more comments here?
Sure, there's plenty.
Who else do we need to shut
A
down?
little salt from the Panthers fans. I just pulled this from a posting. The whatever the paper is out in Florida ran a story about Gallant making the Stanley Cup final. And somebody just commented, just another slap in the face. Where would the Panthers have gone this year if they hadn't fired Gallant and kept Marshy and Smitty? They're back on track, but always seems this franchise takes one step forward and two steps backwards.
Can we talk about how much?
I just lump in all those Florida teams together. It's just one
Yeah.
team.
Right.
Can we
It's
talk
the
about how
Union of
much
Florida.
hate there is out there for this fans in Vegas don't deserve this, and
Yeah.
it's bad for
Well, that's
hockey.
Toronto
and this
fans.
ridiculous
Can we do
narrative that it's somehow negative for this
True.
team to come together the way that they did
It
and
took
go
you
on this
almost
run.
an hour to come up with a good point. That's good.
Man, I'm about to shut your computer, man. Jesus. No, I mean honestly, where does this
Sorry, John.
this sense of it's a sense of entitlement.
It is.
It's jealousy too.
Well,
There's
it's
a lot of
definitely jealousy.
It's a
yeah,
lot of
but
I mean, it is
what
years
makes
of
you think
suffering.
that because you've been around for X amount of years and your team has sucked for that long that you are somehow entitled to a cup run?
So-
maybe you go out and you get a better GM who can select better players. Because let's say it is Washington in the final. That's George McPhee's team. He put that team together versus the Golden Knights, George McPhee's team that he put together. Maybe your organization should go out and find better GMs, better players, and play better hockey on the ice if you're going to be that salty about sucking for so long.
I agree.
Have the Golden Knights suddenly become polarizing then?
If they win the cup, I'd say yes.
Because-
if they win it, absolutely.
Because this was
a lot
a
of people are
team
going to
that-
hate Vegas.
that everyone loved,
Yeah.
right? They had this, love affair like you guys do with VGK. And now, suddenly we're getting a lot of hatred out there.
Yeah, it's
some negative columns.
It's too
and what
bad.
have you.
Too.
It is a
It's
shame.
too bad. And
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad for the NHL if they win. I think it's bad for Las Vegas in only one, just 1 point.
Well, I don't care if it's bad.
It's
for
only
overall.
bad. It's
I mean,
only
I don't
bad
care.
because
How
do you top this?
Who cares?
How do you top
right.
this?
Who cares? Who cares? How do you top any championship?
Next year,
how do
when,
you top
when
any
John's
championship?
the only press guy
John,
out there
John,
waving
how do
his
you
chants
top,
towel?
How do you top the 2016 Cubs World Series after waiting for that long? How do you top it?
The Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup
Okay,
in its first year.
no. I mean, as a Cubs fan, how
Right.
do you top that? Does that mean that they shouldn't have won because it's bad
Right,
for
and
Chicago?
that's a good point.
That's bad for
So
the
what do you
Cubs
guys
If they
think?
do
Because
anything
you can't
after that,
top
it's
it.
not going to equal what they did in
The
2016.
Red Sox coming back from
Right.
3-0
It's not gonna
against the
equal it.
Yankees. Is that bad for Boston because you can't get topped. That's such a stupid argument.
Do you remember
winning a championship is winning a championship?
Do you
when
remember
you can
what
win
a
one, you
hard-ass-
go out and win one.
Do you remember what a hard-ass Gary Bettman was when Las Vegas was
Yes,
going
I
through the
remember
whole
that.
process?
I do remember that.
I'm
I interviewed
wondering-
him several times
I'm
about
wondering,
that.
Talk about the king of salt.
Yeah.
I'm wondering now what's going through Gary Bettman's mind, because he was like,
Oh, he's thrilled about it. He's friends with Foley. He's friends with the
but
Maloofs.
he also checked Foley early on a couple of times.
He also brought a franchise to Las Vegas. He's the commissioner, and the NHL approved a move to Vegas. So he's sitting there going, see, told you it would work. Good move by us. We knew hockey would work in the desert. Here it is.
Yeah, well, they have to appease Canada, too, though, at some point.
God, stop crying, Canada. Get better. Come on,
So who do
Maple
we-
Leafs. You've been out for 50 years. Get better.
So who do we think the Golden Knights are going to play?
I think it's destiny, and I think it's Washington, and I think that they've got to host Game 1. I mean, everything as far as them being able to have these amazing moments.
It keeps
right?
lining
and
up
it
that
goes
way, right?
all the way back to, again, what this team and this city went through. That first home game on October 10th.
Even the
after
first
shooting.
game in Dallas.
Yeah.
The way
Right.
down the entire game, and then
Right.
James Neal with the 2 goals. To
Somebody
win the game.
did make a point in our comments, though, saying that they'd rather have it start in Tampa because if it's a sweep, Vegas wins Game 4.
I think
home.
if it's Tampa, it's a 6-game series. I think they're going to win at home. I think they close out at home in the finals.
They haven't won one series at
if
home
it's
yet.
Washington,
I think they're due.
I think if it's Washington, it's 5 games again. They win it
Yeah.
here. They have to win it here,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Vegas
Man.
2-0 against both of those teams, and so my prediction, which is very important, I think Tampa, I think Vegas, Tampa, I think Vegas wins. Washington, that could be the game that kind of turns the corner for the Capitals.
Just
and
mute,
if the
mute your
Capitals
We
sound
heard
win-
that.
because
We
it
heard that
doesn't
after
matter what Tony
after they
says.
beat Pittsburgh.
It's okay.
Heard the same thing after they beat
It's okay.
Pittsburgh, and then they go and lose
So you
2
guys,
home
your
games in a row.
prediction, regardless, is going to be the Golden Knights will beat any team on the planet.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I'll tell you
Yes.
why. We've been saying since
'Cause
the
they're the
beginning
best
of the
team in the
playoffs.
NHL.
Not only that, John, haven't we been saying since the beginning of the playoffs that the Stanley Cup champion was most likely coming out of the West?
That's right.
Why change
you
that
guys said
stance
that.
now?
That's fine. I think it's finesse against brute strength, and I just think
Kings are a finesse
It's
team.
not brute strength.
Kings are a finesse
Tony,
team.
they're
definitely.
They're two
Struggle
fast teams,
against
and
the Kings.
Gallant said as much today that this is going to be a faster series than the Jets series was, and that series was pretty fast in Game 1 when the Jets came flying around
we
and
know-
scored 3
we know
goals
one
right
And they
away.
beat
We know
these
one
teams
thing.
already.
The
You know
captain-
they can beat them.
the captain Fleury, the captain, the C, he's better than either goalie.
Yep.
He's obviously
He
in his
is.
zone, and
And he must be tired.
and
Yeah,
maybe he'll be
exhausted.
fatigued.
Exhausted.
That was sarcasm.
And
if
we're
you're
going to see
listening.
Malcolm Subban in the next series.
Oh, God.
we didn't even
He's
see him
still
in the
hurt.
last 2 games of this
He's
series.
still hurt.
Game 5 or 6.
Day to
we'll see him.
day, Subban day to day, Carrier still day to day.
We'll see Malcolm
Gallant
Subban
expects them back really
after
soon.
Game 5
Yeah.
with the cup
Yeah,
in the air.
that's
That's
right.
when we're
That's-
going to see Subban on the ice, hoisting the cup.
So remember what Don Cherry said. When you control
Can you
faceoffs,
stop? Can you
control-
stop bringing this
You
up?
control everything.
Tony's used this line at least a dozen times since the start of the Jets series.
But that the one thing we won't have is Don Cherry. So right, unless they do hockey night in Canada.
Did I confirm that I'm credentialed for the Stanley Cup? By the way, so you have a local media member
Congratulations.
credentialed, and apparently fanboy here, right? I'm sure the NHL would have taken notice
Fan up,
of
John.
something.
I want
It's
you
not
to
like
wear
they
a
just,
Golden Knights shirt
It's not
under
like
your
they just
suit.
credential anybody for the Stanley Cup final, despite what Tony may believe. We earn those credentials.
I did
will
really
use
well
them
in writing
well.
your bio and
Yeah.
plagiarizing some stuff, and yeah, it looked good.
I can't
it looked
wait.
Good.
I can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal.
So let's quickly just a few topics here, real quick. OTAs for the Raiders started today. I enjoyed listening to Coach John Gruden speak. I always do. I think he's great. Speaks in the short sound bites, doesn't dodge any questions for the media. He said today following the workouts that they must have changed about 30 plays, went no huddle 16 times. He said that the team worked on gap and zone blocking. He also said that the team is processing plays very quickly. He throws a lot at them, and it's really fast, right? Everything's quick moving.
Yeah, I mean that's Gruden's offense is not an easy one to pick up. I mean, you've heard the verbiage that he throws out there with these systems, but that's why they're there right now. I mean, we talked about it on the Silver and Black podcast a little while ago, Silver and Black Today podcast, that Donald Penn's out there already, and would he be there if they didn't draft so many offensive linemen early in the draft? And I think maybe not if it was still the old system, but the fact that there is a new system being put in place, even those vets got to get in there, and they've got to learn this system. They've got to be ready to, especially in the offensive line, you got to know the protections. I mean, it's a huge part of what they do, and if they're not going to be ready, if he's not ready by the time training camp starts, physically and mentally, he's gone. They're gonna move right past him.
And Gruden said today he wants the team to finish games, finish plays, finish drives.
Sounds a lot like a coach we know.
Exactly.
That,
I was thinking the same thing.
Coaching a team here in town right now.
And also finish their education. So he's proud of players like Bruce Irvin, Mari Cooper, who have graduated. And Gary Conley was on the field today. Pretty much a lot happening. One other thing, too, on the Raiders before we depart. Will Las Vegas host the 2020 NFL Draft? So the NFL owners are meeting this week. They'll discuss it. 2019 NFL Draft already awarded to Nashville. And the candidates for 2020, Vegas, Kansas City, Denver, and that Cleveland Canton entry.
Yeah, it's
kind of silly.
Yeah,
so
and talk about kneeling as well, and a 15-yard penalty for kneeling. Yeah, it's just
that's ridiculous.
It's
and,
we could save that for another day.
Yeah, and also on our show on Thursday night, let's table this. But the NFL is expected to award the 2023 Super Bowl to Atlanta, 2024 to New Orleans. So it has to be
Vegas.
2025 Vegas.
Yeah.
Has to be 2025.
Yeah.
That's the soonest I think that we could do it. Hey, fans out there, don't forget to join us. We'll be live on Thursday night.
Please.
Yes, like our page, like our pages. Hopefully we gave you some information in between the fanboys here. And make sure you join us right here on Facebook Thursday night, 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Ish.
Okay, Pacific time. And also coming up, we'll be doing a new radio show. All the details coming up this week, and we'll let you know. Rebel Baseball in San Diego for the Mountain West Championship. They take on Reno first. Just 4 teams, double elimination.
Golf next week.
They start the 25th, which is
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh,
so we
sorry.
can do that on our show.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
And then the Las Vegas Lights FC on the road tomorrow in Southern California as they meet a team that I didn't write down. And they advance now. If they win, they advance to the 4th round where they'll play teams from the MLS there in that tournament. So that's it, man. It's been mostly VGK, and again, a lot of excitement.
As it should be.
Here in Las Vegas. A ton of excitement.
Can't
and
beat
it's
that
been
right
great
now.
to watch, and truly it's been really exciting. It's bolstered our city, and I'll be on the bandwagon. For the Stanley Cup.
About time.
So they're going to have an actual float, like a bandwagon.
No,
float.
it's going to be a limo. That's the bandwagon.
I want to be in the cab.
Yeah, that's
me and Gerard Gallant have
it's
to.
a stretch.
You know what? I'll
Humvee.
drive the cab for Gerard. So again, for our producer Scott Gobranson, for Matt Gutierrez, for John Castanino, I'm Tony Cardasco. We come to you from the worldwide headquarters of U.S. Fantasy Sports. Good night, everyone, on the Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas simulcast.